Hey everybody, welcome back to CellSmart TV. Thanks for being a part of this, and this has been a really fun series for us to have. We're getting to know some really cool business owners, business professionals, and other entrepreneurs who are helping make the world turn. And we're excited to be a part of episode 7 now. And this one is a really fun one for me. I just recently met our guest, relatively recently anyway, and he's new to his industry and his profession, and so it's going to be fun to actually get a different perspective on some of the things. A lot of the folks that we've talked to have been doing what they've been doing for a long time, and so this will be kind of fun to get an opportunity to speak to our audience about what it is you do and the how long you've done it and those kind of things, and get a different perspective on that. So thank you for being a part of this. We're here with Braiden Reich, and I'll let him take some time to just kind of introduce himself and what he does, and tell us a little bit about what got you into that line of work while you're at it.
Yeah, first, thank you for letting us be here. This is awesome. So I started with American Family. I was working with them back in February. I was able to actually start my own agency with American Family only in June. So I've only been at it for about 2 months. But super excited to be in the industry. Northern Utah is my home. I grew up here. And I'm really excited to be helping out the community, my neighbors and friends. So it's just been awesome. I grew up with a lot of sales mentors. Everybody in my family, my parents, my grandfather actually does State Farm insurance and has for 27 years in Arizona. So just a real big background in just community involved and people that are just passionate about serving others. And I just have some really great mentors that started in that. I started with actually technology, selling cell phones for T-Mobile, and did that for about 4 years, worked around in that. That was very exciting. People love technology.
Absolutely.
And then I moved over into jewelry, and shortly after that I moved into car sales, and it's just a very exciting industry. All of them are. And that's kind of different than selling insurance. When you're selling a car, selling a cell phone, selling maybe a piece of jewelry to a young man who's taking it to his girlfriend, trying to start a life with a significant other, there's a real emotion to it. It's very exciting. And then when I've moved into insurance, things definitely change. You don't get to send somebody home with a car or a beautiful diamond ring or the newest technology out there. You're basically sending them with a piece of paper that not only guarantees that this giant American corporate company has their back, but you want them to know, and you're basically selling yourself, that you and the community has their back. You're there for them. You're there for their friends, their family, in case any kind of tragic accident were to happen or anything like that. So it's a different game, but it's been very exciting. I've met a lot of really nice, genuine people along the way, and I've met a lot of really awesome business owners too. So I'm very excited to be here.
That's awesome, man. Again, thank you for joining us. It's kind of a cool thing to hear that perspective. I mean, obviously we've been in phones for a long time. I've done car sales before, and so I'm kind of familiar with the. I guess what I'm trying to say is I can relate with kind of the way that you've seen things in your career. So it's kind of interesting. So tell us a little more about, you talk about community involvement and community service and being a part of helping to serve others. And tell us a little bit more about what it is that you love most about what you do.
Really, you just hit the nail on the head. It's serving other people, is being able to be there. There's a really cool video that you guys got to check out. It's American Family sponsored video of one of the terrible tornadoes in Oklahoma. And there's just a family grown man just almost struck like he's just seen a ghost because this tornado came through and took out his entire legacy, his home, all of his property, his fields. And to watch the American Family guys, the agents and the team of adjusters and everybody go out there, there's no banks left after this terrible thing, so they can't just write a check and say, okay, here you go, we can see the damage. They're out there with wads of cash. And they're saying, you need to go get your clothes, you need to go get food, you need to go get water, you need to, find something. And they're out there helping rebuild this stuff. And that, it just brought this awesome feeling to me of that is exactly why you are in this industry, is to help people when the unthinkable happens. And so for me to be there, and I grew up in Syracuse, Clearfield area, lived in Layton for a while, and to see, running into friends and family and to be able to be there to help them out.
Yeah.
throughout, as the children get older and their entire lives is exactly why I'm in it, and that's the most exciting part to me.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Very inspiring. What do you find most challenging about what it is that you do every day?
Marketing where your feet are is something that is tough, is because there's a fine line between like a business talk and handling business, and then having that friendship and almost that sense there of, although you're not blood related, the family, and to merge that into the line of, hey, let's talk business with people that you don't want to ever sacrifice the friendship first,
right,
is definitely a tough part. But what I'm trying to get across to people is, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to take care of them. I want to be the guy they call if the sewer backs up and they need help in the basement. I'm going to be the guy that's going to be there. I want to be the guy people know and people trust. Word of mouth is a big thing in any small business starting up, and so that's been a part where I'm flirting on the line of friendship and business, and I want to combine them both and still be able to keep that great relationship.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that has been the biggest, I would say, benefit for us in regards to what you just mentioned was being able to illustrate to people the reason why you got into the business, or your why. And a lot of times in like entrepreneurial classes and courses and seminars and different things, they'll talk about your why and what you do, because there's a power and there's a weight behind it, and I think you illustrate that really well in what you've said thus far, and how you are not in it just because there's money to be involved in insurance, right? There's a purpose behind it, and there's a reason why, and I think it's important as any business professional or entrepreneur that you remember the reason why you got into that line of work, and as long as it's a good deep reason why, that's not rooted in something superficial like dollars, then I think you can go really, really far in life and in business.
Yeah.
So for whatever that's worth to it. So let's shift gears a little bit here and talk a little bit more about what technology you find yourself using every day. And this can be anything from hardware, software, apps, computers, phones, you name it. Just tell us a little bit more about the technology you use every day and what you find most important.
Absolutely. Technology is a huge part of almost any small business these days. With in my case, the customer retention and the planning is all done on technology. It shoots to my phone, my iPad, my laptop. So to be able to schedule things, I'm only one man. I can't remember an entire day. I try, I really do, but it's hard to remember everybody's name, everybody's phone number,
right?
And then also what your entire schedule looks like for the month. So any kind of scheduling software we use a ton of, Microsoft and Evernote, sending all of that stuff so I can send it to anybody else in the agency who needs to look at it. When I'm taking photos of homes, I gotta send them to the corporate office, and they gotta be able to look at the home and say, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Let's go ahead and insure them. And the coolest technology that we are coming out with is on the iPad platform, is our small business software. So I can walk into somebody's small business, and where it used to take 3 or 4 days to write somebody a quote for insurance on their business, it takes half an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you get just all that punched into the iPad, you send it in, they send it back that fast, and I'm sure not only on my end is the technology there, but then the corporate office as well.
Yeah.
Everything has just gotten so fast paced, it's awesome.
The speed in which it helps you to do business is incredible, and that's, I think, one thing that's helped us quite a bit too. So
absolutely,
that's really cool. Is there a way that you could illustrate or talk about like a specific time where the use of that technology has helped to improve, say, like a particular transaction, or improve this particular function to make it more efficient for you, or something like that? Is that making sense how I'm asking that?
Absolutely, yeah. Even just as far as the calendar, I can't lug around my laptop with me everywhere I go to, talk about my schedule when I'm setting appointments with anybody who is giving me a shot to maybe write them a quote and give them a bid for insurance. So to be able to send my entire schedule that not only my business partner has, but then the corporate office has to say, hey, you have this besides everything else that you're doing on your own. For me to be able to pull up my phone and just be like, yeah, unfortunately I'm busy that day, but between this time and this time works great. And so really just the communication and speed of technology has, I mean, skyrocketed anybody in this industry. So
because you get the access to the
yeah.
calendars.
And even
anywhere you go, right?
Mm-hmm. And even when you're taking care of clients, the new app that American Family has, instead of calling your agent or calling the 1-800 number and being on hold for a half an hour, you log into the app, you put your username and your ID, and there's your proof of insurance. It has an option to print right there from your phone, or you can just hand it to, hopefully you're not getting pulled over, but if you are, hand it to police officer. Right? So yeah, I mean, technology is awesome, and I've always had a passion for it, you know, even when I started out selling cell phones. Huge Android guy, I love it, but unfortunately the platform with iPhone is something that American Family has chose to use, so I will be switching over.
Fair enough. Since and I know you've been in the insurance line in just a relatively short amount of time, but throughout your career, can you talk about how you've seen technology evolve through what you've been doing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be more of a sales career because I'm too new to insurance to be able to tell you too much about it. But just if you think, back 2004, there wasn't even the iPhone, all right?
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Yeah. And then even in the car industry, I mean, you used to have a radio in your car and a CD player. And I haven't seen a CD player in a car since like 2015. So technology is just getting so advanced, so awesome. I mean, sometimes I get a little frustrated when a week later I still have another update. I'm like, I swear I just did this.
Yeah.
But it's just because they're making quicker, faster, better things, and so in sales, T-Mobile, obviously there's a new phone out every 7 months, and your phone's 6 months old. It's not new anymore.
In our line of work, that's crazy because
right.
I mean, obviously, I hire the best techs in the industry to be able to repair phones and things like that, and make sure that they're always on top of their game. But the continuing education, like, literally is almost every 6 to 7 months there's something new coming out. There's something new launching that we have to stay on top of and we have to be aware of. I mean, there's just recently they launched the Note 8, and we'll have the iPhone 8 here shortly. So we'll have all kinds of new stuff that we're actually working right now to be aware of, so that when those things come in, that we're able to help take care of those and fix those. But
right.
I mean, you talk about it. I mean, from just the sales career that you have, and how many other sales professionals are out there utilizing the technology to, where before we used to have. I remember when I first got into the car business, I had to have a notebook of all my contacts and all my customers.
Oh yeah.
And now they're doing it like standing on the lot while they wait for you to pull over the curb to come buy a car. They've got it on their phone and they're dialing the customers and calling them while they're waiting.
Right.
It's just insane. Yeah. It's just absolutely insane. So it makes them way more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say that, I mean, you talked a little bit about the app from American Family and your calendar. Mm-hmm. How would you say that the technology that you're using is helping you to be better at what you're doing every day?
A big part of it right now is social media. I mean, everybody is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram all the time. Mm-hmm. So to be able to get your name out to all these people that you can reconnect with back in school, and then as your life's moved forward, that's awesome. To be able to send somebody a personal message, you don't have their cell phone number, you don't have obviously a landline anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't wait for a mailer to get out to their house, just to be able to write them a quick note on Facebook and be like, hey, how's life? And, I love watching you and your family grow up on Facebook. A little bit about me, I'm in this industry, and if I can ever help you, please reach out to me.
Right.
So to be able to contact with people that you haven't had actual physical contact with in a long time, and to be able to keep up with them and watch their lives is amazing. Social media is huge.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I use that a lot, trying to get into it a lot more, and I think that definitely sets you apart from the old send something in the mail and then wait 5 days and call them and see if they're that kind of thing. So
it's funny, we were talking about this the other day, is we had something pop up that it was a little comic, and it was funny because it showed this little guy, and he walks out to his mail, he opens his mailbox, and there's like tons of mail in there, and he goes, ugh, and most of it ends up in the trash. Mm-hmm. And he walks into his computer and it goes, you got mail, and he's like, yay, I got mail, I got email. Mm-hmm. But then it shows, and it's time stamped, right, so it says 10 years ago or something like that. I may be misquoting it, but then it said now, and the guy walks to his computer, and he's got boatloads of emails, and he goes, ugh, and clicks select all, and then moves them all to the trash. You know, and then now he walks out to the mail, and there's one letter in there, and he opens it and he goes, yay, I got mail. You know? So it's just crazy, like, to see how the technology has evolved. And as great as it is, like, it's still kind of interesting to see how important relationship building is, you know, especially for someone in a sales career.
Right.
You know, a lot of people think that a sales career, and forgive me for using the lewd term, but a lot of people think that, you know, working with a salesperson is very similar to like a one-night stand, you know, and how wrong, in my opinion, that is, you know, because of how hard we work to try to create relationships that last a long time, so that we can be the first person that they think of when they need our services and what we do.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
So I apologize for the lewd illustration there, but you kind of get the metaphor, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Just in terms of how that goes, but yeah, technology has really been a big part of that. Because, like you say, it can help us to keep in contact with those folks that we haven't had like a physical relationship with for a long time. But it also doesn't take the place of, you know, sitting down with somebody and having a handshake and, you know, being involved with their lives too. So, is there anything that you've seen or been a part of that you would change about the technology that you use right now to help make you better or more efficient?
Yeah, and sorry, American Family, not trying to be mean. It would be super cool because, and it's, listening to myself say this and even think this, I just feel silly, but I'm kind of lazy. When I go out to maybe check on somebody's home, I got to take photos. Then I still got to email them over, and then I got to put them on my hard drive. And then for my hard drive, I've got to upload them into a website. It'd be really cool to just sign in and find the customer and upload the photos just by click of the camera. So the efficiency of everything that we use could be a little quicker, but I don't want to sound too lazy. So
no, I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said for the ease of access and stuff. Like, we had a conversation a couple weeks back with a gentleman who was talking about how Amazon has just made it so insanely easy for people to access the goods that they're buying. You know, and it's like, people don't even want to enter in their credit card information anymore. They expect the website to be able to just remember it because of the way that Amazon's utilize that technology, right? And so same thing, I think, is illustrated in what you talk about with, you know, having to take a picture, but then having it easily accessed on any platform, right? You know, kind of a cloud-based kind of model. So. Is that fair to say? Am I understanding that?
No, yeah, absolutely. That is very fair to say. It's just like you said with the platforms. Is I don't love that anybody ever has the monopoly. I don't think that's ever a good thing.
Right.
So I think, you know, anybody who's in the the design and software, we just need to have like a competitive market, and that's why I was always a fan of Android. I've always been a fan of the underdog, and for them to come in and compete, and for a couple of years they actually had higher sales than anybody else, and that was really cool and exciting, especially when I was in the cell phone industry. So I'm super passionate about all that, and I love to see different companies come out with competitive software and maybe take the lead and have the edge for a little while. So just super cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so again, thank you for being a part of this conversation, and it's been awesome getting a chance to chat with you and learn more about you and the reason why you're doing this and the cool things that you're utilizing to make yourself better at what you do and to connect with your clientele more. But I always have to ask the super hard-hitting journalistic question. And I know you've already kind of touched on it, but I'm going to ask you to expand on it if you would. So the question is this: Windows, iOS, or Android, and why?
Oh, that's good. Android for sure, as far as all of my personal life goes. The cell phone I'm on still a Samsung Note 4, believe it or not. And I love the phone. I mean, it's got excellent battery life, good size screen. But you know, the thing that they have that kind of puts them on the lead is the personalization of a phone. Everybody out there, although you can get new cases and straps for your watch and things like that, but you know, to get into the widgets and can't think of the word of it, but just customizing even the photo that your icons have. I love Samsung and I love that they're the underdog, but recently it's so nice to have your iPad, your computer, your phone, and your watch all sync up. So where American Family uses the iOS platform, I will be actually, unfortunately, switching over to the Apple products. But no, I'm excited.
Come to the dark side.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so I'm really excited just to be able to have some of that stuff and have it sync up. My wife's had it for a while, and she just shows me all the cool things with it. And but as far as Windows goes, sorry, but I just don't like it. Don't care for the phones, don't care for the computers. I just kind of think that they're struggling and they need to maybe find something else to start working with.
Right on.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I mean, obviously we've asked this question a number of times to a number of our guests now, and I think you make a good point in terms of like, you know, customization on the Android platform, integration with the iOS platform, things like that. I'm a big iOS user, so when I say come to the dark side, it's my encouragement too. But my wife's a big Android user. She loves the Android platform and detests the Apple platform. And I know there's a bunch of our viewers and our guests that are much the same way.
Right.
I will say this though, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this question. I think a lot of it has to do with your personal preferences. I don't think that there's one platform that will like do one thing that the other one can't per se. I will say there are definitely different levels in terms of pros and cons. I don't think it's quite the black and white answer to the question that I asked in such a black and white way. There's a lot of different shades within there, so for whatever that's worth. But again, thank you. I really appreciate being a part of this. Just to round out this conversation, I always like to give you an opportunity to tell our audience how to get a hold of you if they need your services or want to ask questions or want a quote or whatever. So do us a favor and tell us how all the different ways that our customers and our viewers can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so my cell phone I have on me all the time. It's my work cell phone. The number is 801-628-7192. And we just opened a brand new office up in Clearfield in the Legend Hills area, right in between 700 and Antelope. So it's on the east side of the freeway. So shoot me a text. I will try and text you right back as soon as possible. Give me a call anytime. And then you can go to my Facebook page too. It's Braiden Reich Insurance Agency. Please give it a like. Also, if I can, we are going to have a huge grand opening in my office on the 29th of September, so it's coming up in a little less than a month, a little more than a month, and we're going to have a raffle giving away some really cool stuff. We're going to have some food there, some drinks, and it's just going to be a good time, so just getting us involved in the community and having fun.
That sounds like a great time. Yeah. I know we'll be there.
Awesome.
Be there to help support you, absolutely. Again, if you guys need anything in terms of insurance or a quote, or if you guys are already using American Family, this is an outstanding individual that you definitely need to get in contact with. Big fan. And like I said, I've known you for a relatively short time, but it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and getting to be a part of your growth and your rise and all of that. So thank you again for being a part of the video and being here with us. That wraps up episode 7. So again, reach out to Braiden, and we will see you guys next week.